Here's the speech called Tips for Improving Your Memory, which we will memorize in this lesson. It starts with a brief introduction about the benefits of a good memory, then presents 6 key points on improving your memory, and it ends with a call to action. In this lesson, in addition to memorizing the speech, you will also learn a public speaking technique that can help you on any occasion. By using the SCALM technique, you will be able to memorize your speech in a very effective way, which will allow you to remain confident when you deliver it, and when you're confident of what you have to say, the fear of public speaking disappears. Now, let's start memorizing the speech by applying the SCALM method. The first step of the SCALM method is to structure the information in the form of a mind map that will give us an overview of the whole material. As you can see, the material was organized into 3 parts: introduction, key points, and conclusion. From the writing phase of the speech, I want to organize key points in a most memorable form, and for this, I used the acronym technique, so the 6 key points of my speech are organized around the acronym CRISPY. The next step of the method is to chunk the information into manageable parts: the introduction, then the 6 key points, and finally the conclusion. As you can see, I divided the material into several small chunks in order to turn them into memorable images in the next step, which is the association. So let's move on to the most important step of the SCALM method: the association of these pieces of information with simple and memorable images. This is where the magic happens. In this stage, the abstract information is transformed into pictures by using the memory techniques. The first chunk is the speech introduction, containing 3 ideas. A good memory is essential, which can be associated with the image of an essence bottle. It is necessary to in social life, for which I will associate the Facebook logo. And memory plays a big role. That can be associated with an actress, for example, Catherine Zeta-Jones. Next chunk presents the 6 key points organized as the acronym CRISPY, which can become the image of a bag of crispy minis. Then we have the ideas of confidence and use of it, for which I will use this image with a handshake and a training dumbbell. The next chunk is about review, for which I will use a pair of 3D glasses, and rehearse, for which I will use the image of a movie screen. Next one is about involving various senses, and I imagine myself picking up a flower and smelling it. Then we have this chunk about fixing a clear and strong impression, which I will symbolize through a photo camera. The next chunk is about learning the memory techniques, and I will represent it through the image of a teacher. Choose a particular teacher from your past or present. It is important to be a known person to you. Next idea is about putting yourself in the story, which I will symbolize through a fairy tale book. The last chunk is the conclusion, containing 3 ideas. The journey of memory improvement does not end, which I will symbolize through a suitcase. None of the top memory experts would claim to be born with a great memory. I will use the image of the memory expert Dominic O'Brien. And finally, a call to action. You too can become a memory athlete, for which I will use the image of a gold medal. At the end of this association step, we have a list of simple and easy to memorize images which we will place in order along a structure that will help us to memorize them in order. This structure will be created in the next step of the SCALM method by using the memory palace technique. It's always a good option to create your memory palace in the same room where you are supposed to give the speech. By memorizing the key points of your speech in this way, you will have visual reminders everywhere around you in the room, and they will automatically trigger the key ideas of your speech. To memorize the images in order, I will choose 15 predefined points in the room where I will give the speech, and I will place my images there. Of course, this will only happen in my imagination, being part of the process of fixing the information in my mind. The last step of the SCALM method is to memorize the images that will trigger your key ideas. And here are these ideas. A good memory is essential. 1. It is necessary too in social life. 2. Memory plays a big role. 3. In our life. The most effective tips from the memory experts to help you to improve your memory. CRISPy acronym. 4. Cultivate your memory. Use your memory and place confidence. 5. In it. One of the most important things in the cultivation of the memory is the actual use of it. 6. Review and rehearse. In review, 7. You go over what you have just learned to more firmly encode it in the first place. In rehearsal, 8. You expand on your initial review with a return to the material, so you firmly fix that encoding in place. You can strengthen your memory by involving various senses. 9. Get into the habit of fixing a clear and strong impression. 10. From the first. Persist until you learn the memory improvement techniques. Techniques can be somewhat complicated until you learn them. 11. That is, you are part of the story. 12. You will remember more information if you try to relate that information to yourself. The journey, 13, of memory improvement does not end. None of the top memory experts, 14, would claim to be born with a great memory. You too can become a memory athlete. 15. As you can see, these simple images placed along a mental path that ensure their order are extremely memorable. Here's how efficient the SCALM technique is and how it can help you become a skilled and eloquent public speaker.